All right, pretty massive milestone here. We are getting the between layer on. This is the final color of Delfine on the roof. Not the final layer, of course, but you can see this paint is covering really well. And yeah, this is oh my God, we're so excited about this. This is such a huge milestone from where we were. Painting a steel boat is quite involved. There's a lot of layers, but boy, when you're finished, she looks great. And once that was done, the next thing was to put the stickers on the back. We had those ordered, and yeah, Delfine is now officially named. And then it was on to other tasks. It's a bit like cake decorating, but we're making non-slip bollards. We were told the best way to do this was the between layer and okay, and then lots of sand. This is the sand from the sandblasting. It's quite gritty, and then when that's finished, we will come back and we will do a final coat over it a few times until it's all white, but it'll be white with texture. The reason for tackling the bollards really was to complete the estrin. So there was a range of things, including putting the cover on the hydrophore, getting the name up the front. We had to have all the bollards as non-slip. We finished those down the side now. And then we moved on to continuing to paint. Finished all around the wheelhouses, Karina here, pulling the tape off at the end of that. Okay, so we are moving into the next phase where we're starting to get some furniture deliveries. It's not as easy as you'd think, because you would say, oh, they'll take 6 to 8 weeks to deliver. You order them and then they say, hey, it's arriving next week. Normally you'd be super happy with that, but as you can tell, we're not quite ready still. This is the first piece of furniture that we've had delivered for Delfine. So a bit of an unboxing.
So this piece is antique. It's come from Italy, and I found it on Pomono, which is just like a vintage antiques online store. And it's sort of been on my wish list for a while, and I really hope it works. It's always a bit unknown when you can't try something in a store and you're just looking at measurements and thinking, will this do the trick?
This is going to be, what is this going to be?
This is the captain's chair.
Okay.
So we needed a stool that you can use at the helm, so it's going to kind of go here. That was light enough to be able to move, so that if it's really busy, we can just push it to the side. We could also like move it across here and use it as an extra chair at the table, perhaps.
We're just filling time now.
Ideally,
here we go.
Ideally comfortable to sit on, so something padded as opposed to wooden. We thought would be nice.
Old-fashioned, so it's a padded top. And there, and yeah, it doesn't have a back, but we don't really need a back because we don't, we're not sort of sitting for hours on end, and space is more important. So this is much nicer than what we had before. Here we go. I think this fits very nicely. The black goes with the black we've got going on the console. One of the things about this which we really liked was that it will spin up. So that goes, that actually there's probably about high enough that we can, oh yeah, that's perfect. That's just high enough to be able to sit here. It goes up a little bit higher again, but that's high enough to be able to sort of sit here on the helm, rest your feet for a bit, stand up, move around, and then of course, as Karina says, just pop it out of the way in the corner.
Yeah, that's great.
Very happy. Good
yeah,
choice.
That's not in the way at all.
No,
it just tucks in there beautifully.
Way smaller than the other one.
So for those of you who are curious, this item was, I think, 200 euros and 25 something delivery. Yeah. I don't know how that compares to something, new that's good quality, probably comparable, but I think that this will last a very long time, hopefully.
And it just, fits better with the kind of feel that we're trying to go for with the boat. So there you go. And with the bathrooms completed, we had Martin back to help install the electric toilet. That went very smoothly. Super happy with that process. Here we go. New toilet. It's electric, so you press the before button. I'm not actually going to demonstrate the next bit. And then when you're done, there we go. So very exciting. It's been a while now, probably 8, 9, and away it gets done. It's all evacuated. Oh, and the really lovely thing about this is a soft touch lid, which is super handy because it just means you don't slam it, which I love. Here we are, the 2 of the 6 dining chairs that we've just received. I'm not going to unpack the rest. We just had a quick look to make sure they're okay and check them out. Looking amazing. Table legs over there, and then the table stacked up in here. Beautiful piece of furniture that's going to be the feature piece in our dining room here on Delfine. And what I love about the table is that little rosewood detail matches the chairs. Whilst all this was going on, we also moved house. That was quite involved. But it's been great. And, you know, we have lovely new neighbours. Behind us, we have monks. They ring bells every now and again, but super quiet. We're right in the centre of the city, and we love that. Okay, it's another beautiful day here in Belgium. Time to show everyone what we've been up to and where we're at. Let's take a look. So the wheelhouse is done on the sides now. We've taken the tape off. It's looking pretty good. We've now removed the solar panels, and I've been working on sanding the sides. Needs a little bit more to go. We're not sanding down the bottom. You can see this paint here is all flaky and coming off. That we'll save for later. What I want to do is get the primer to here, which I'm going to do this afternoon, and then that will let us put the between layer on this. And then the big news is that next week, so that'll be after Monday, I think it's the 26th, that we will be getting the furniture started inside. So the builders are going to come. That gives us that week for them to come and move stuff in. We'll have a between layer on, then they'll finish within a week. We'll get the final coat on here, 2 of those. We can put solar panels back up, and then Martin can finish all of that related work. So yeah, that's why the focus on this section, because we want to prime it and paint it to here. This is like a natural seam to sort of stop at, and we won't notice it when you continue down below. And we'll leave the sides for another time. So I've worked all the way around the front there and all the way up the other side. This I did last week. You can see it's kind of rusted up again. That just comes off even just with your fingers. It really is just very light surface rust, so that'll come off super quick with a very light sand. And yeah, we'll get the priming done today. That's where we're at. It's go here on Delfine. Oh, the other one, big news too. I think I showed the video of it, didn't I? Was at the toilet. Yeah, I'm sure I showed the video of that. And not that exciting, but here's the primer coat on the side. Look, it's an important step. You know, you have to make sure that the metal is protected to prevent rust. And here we go. We are currently painting the between layer, covering the areas that we've primed, and I'm about to go inside, get the huge roller, well, not huge roller, but the bigger roller, and do the rest of the roof. Karina's just cutting in around those hatches. We'll do the little supports for the solar panel, and in about an hour's time, this will all be a lovely white. I think this sums up the project. You think you're under control, you know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden they tell you, bam, the builders are going to start installing the furniture next week. So now we have to start painting the radiators because they're going to be encased. And then, yeah, suddenly they're installing the sofa. It's going down. We finally get to see the floor, which looks amazing. All of this furniture came in through the ceiling, through the large dog hatch. You know, it's very exciting. We're going to do a full walkthrough at the end of this video. You'll see a lot more of it. But this was like 1 day's worth of work. It's crazy just how fast this has come together. And then whilst that's going on, we're also continuing to fit out our own apartment, you know, buying new furniture. Here's a new desk that I'm using for writing. We've now got, you know, a new table. Some of the chairs from the boat are here. We've also, you know, put carpets and things down. And then, of course, you know, there's an electrician coming in, and also plumber, electrician and plumber. They're doing both fitting out because the kitchen came, right? And so this is all like about 5 days worth of work. And on top of that, it's also party season here in Ghent, which is kind of crazy. We're going to talk about that. Hey, here at the shipyard, it was Ascension Day. We also had a big party with the Romanian workers. They had a massive barbecue. It was also Peter's daughter Ayla, her birthday, her 8th birthday. So there was a bunch of kids, jumping castle. That was a really fun time. We got to meet a bunch of new people. And yeah, it was great to stop working for a bit. It is the end of May, and let's give everyone a little bit of an update on Delfine. Not sure if we'd mentioned we'd finished this deck here, so this is all done. This has now had its 3 coats on, which means we can put the solar panels back, although we're letting the builders bring things in, and you'll see why in just a moment. We're still waiting for the wheelhouse to be finished, the woodwork. That should happen next week. It's imminent. We've been sanding out here. Karina's done a lot of work here. We've got a priming coat onto this. Because the deck's already primed, the next thing is to sand the rails here. That'll take us 2 or 3 days probably, to be honest. And then we'll be able to prime all of this deck. Up the front here, we've now got the final layer on these. We've got the non-slip, so those bollards are all fixed up. We've put some between layer on the inside here. We're going to paint that blue when we get a chance. This is deck furniture. We'll assemble that once we've painted everything. So yeah, there you go. Let's come inside though. This is where the big changes are. Things are really starting to rip together quickly actually, which is quite nice. We also completed the stern. I think I've showed that in here. Today we've been epoxying, so we've epoxied all the walls down the bottom. We have painted black satin here, finally getting this set in. So, you know, you can see the Victron control here looks really smart against that. This one was quite sun damaged, so we decided to go black and match the rest of this, but then keep the other wood. Console, we've just put a satin layer on these. They'll go back tomorrow. And that is pretty much done. You can see here that we've still got some wires to go in. But this is all coming together. Karina has painted this now in oyster white, so that's very just clean. I mean, it's going to have cushions on it, but you know, in the back here, this is a stern cabin. The bathroom, which I think we've showed, we have the toilet in there, which is really handy. This is going to start on Monday. The builders will be in here and they will start building the bed, so that's exciting. Coming this way, they started, when was it? Not last Monday, last Friday before, so I suppose about 8, 9, 10 days ago, they started building inside. So now here we are, we have the beginnings of the kitchen. More than just the beginnings, to be honest. The fridge is in. We had a minor issue with this, was just a touch too long, and so we couldn't open that storage hatch, but that's been resolved. This is the dishwasher, washing machine, stove, oven, all of that to go in. That'll happen soon. And then here we have our stairs, and we now have our dining bench and sofa. They've measured up the plate that goes on top of that. That's off at the upholsterers, so that is in progress. Radiators are being painted black, and now these covers are on the front. We have to paint those. But yeah, look at this. This is starting to become a boat. We still can't live on it yet, but we're getting there. Down here, we've got a bit of rubbish here from the builders. The cupboards are back in. These were empty for quite a while. They're now back in and lined again. I'll show you why. These bathrooms here, they've measured up for shower screens. They're on their way. And we've painted here. Karina's painted these the same color as the walls, actually. Coming down this way, we now have a cabinet for the laundry. So this was a big empty hole. That's now where the laundry will go. That should get installed the rest of this week. This big piece here is the back of the kitchen. In here, slowly emptying this room out of garbage, which is what we were using it for, because we're going to get the bed head in here. And then the bathroom's going in shortly. So there you go. Everything is coming along quite quickly. Delphine is starting to fit back together. We still don't have our estrin, a couple of minor things to go there, but she is making good progress and very quickly. And that's it for us on Saturday. We are off home.